All right, good people. Oh, I'm getting an echo from this. This is crazy. God bless you, beloved. A few folks have been looking for the show for tonight, and that's not going to happen under the normal way of doing it. So anyway, I had a incident last Monday. You have to excuse me, I'm going to start this treadmill because I'm hard-headed. Anyway, I have a condition, issue, not sure what to call it. And that is that when I lay down, down, not standing up, down. If I lay down too fast, and I guess it's the combo of being fatigued and a lot on my mind or whatever, I can, 14 years ago, I actually passed out. When I have that feeling, if I wait 30 to 60 seconds, I'm normally good. Last Monday, I did the show, but I did a bunch of other things before the show. Cut the grass at the house, went over there, sat in my house because that's where I would rather be than in this hotel, and talked to the roofer, communicated with the insurance company twice, just a lot going on. Staying in a hotel, the bed's not comfortable, I'm not sleeping about an hour and a half to 2 hours a night. So with all of that in mind, that I think the stress of the whole thing and all that would have been enough. But after I did the show, tried to relax, had something to eat, watched the basketball playoffs, won both games, the Heat and the Lakers won that night. And I went over to take my pants off and laid on the bed too fast. The last thing I remember, because it felt deeper than the normal lightheadedness that I feel, I looked over at my wife and I remember saying, "Help me." And that's it. That's all I remember. She said I sat up on the bed, fell over onto the floor, was convulsing and sweating. And when I came to, which wasn't long, she asked me if I wanted her to call the ambulance. Now, you may not know, sorry for my stretching out, you may not know this side of me, but 90% of the time I'm going to say no. Without hesitation, I told her to call 911. I had a tightness across my chest, but not just over the heart, but all the way across. And my arms were still shaking and sweating, sweat on my face and forehead, all that. And I'd also just eaten something. I won't get into too much of that detail. When the paramedics showed up and they came with everybody and their mama, and they checked my blood sugar. It was high, but it should have been because I had just eaten something. That was good though, because it's going to be about another 15 hours or more before I had the next bite. I have to calculate that at some point. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so they take me to emergency that's only about 3 minutes away. And the first thing they do is a brain scan, and they wanted to do a heart workup because I was talking about the pain across my chest. It was really more of a heaviness. But anyway, they did the brain scan. This ER is just the ER. So about 2 hours later, for further testing, they transferred me to Good Samaritan here in Cincinnati. There's not enough water in that to get me through what I'm about to do. Anyway, so they get me in there, and there's this wing that's just off the ER that's like for, I don't know, serious but not, trauma at the point. And so they hooked me up to a monitor, put it in my pocket. Man, I had leads everywhere. Everywhere I went, everybody that I went to wanted to hook me up. It took forever to get all those things off. And so stayed there during the night. Next day, that's when it got huge with the testing. I was taken upstairs, and they put this chemical or a dye or something in me or whatever. I mean, I didn't say this, they started taking blood as soon as I get there. I mean, somebody got like 6 vials on this side. The IV connect was already there, and it was just, man, I was getting poked and prodded. They're checking my fingers, man. I didn't have a finger before I left it. Thumb and the pinky. Everything else on both hands, they got it. So put this dye in me. I had to wait about a half an hour. And then they took me into this scan that was called a nuclear scan. It was like these 2 big TVs, like 52-inch televisions, but more square, right, than rectangle, on either side of me. And these things were rotating over my heart. And then that was done. They pushed me into this thing that looked kind of like an MRI machine, but it had this piece in the center of it that went around in a circle. They pulled me out of that, take me back. I wait a very short period of time, and they took me up to induce a stress test. After the stress test, which was a trip, they gave me some Coke to drink, and I'm not a soda guy, and they gave me a Coke, which I like the least. Ugh. And some cookies. The reason that I mention that, so I don't have to explain that later, is that they kept coming to check my blood sugar right after I ate something. Consistently. It's like, I know you guys are on a schedule, but your timing stinks. At one point, and I'll get back to the other piece in a second, literally, my wife took the tray, the food tray, off the little table they have in front of you in the bed, and she sat it down, and within seconds, and I mean 5 seconds, the phlebotomist comes in the door to take my blood sugar. I'm like, dude, you can't do that now. I just ate. Anyway, so after I leave the chemical-induced stress test, they take me in to get a sonogram. And I was in there too long because it was a doctor that was in there training because of what he's interested in doing and learning, along with the person that was in charge of that. That's a sonogram, ultrasound. And so they looked at my heart, different parts of my heart. It was good that he was in there. It was very thorough. But it was taking too long because they needed me back down for the nuclear scan as quickly as possible. So they actually called up and said, you guys got to get him back down here or outside of our window. So they did the same thing they did the first time, Just really, everybody was great, really nice people. All right. So I don't leave till the next day. I don't leave till Wednesday, and I'm skipping some stuff. But anyway, I leave the following Wednesday, and I'm supposed to follow up with my primary. Now, I'm exhausted. It's Wednesday afternoon. I'm tired. they poked and prodded, and as a matter of fact, when they took the IV out, the nurse noted, she said, "There's not a lot of blood." I said, "You got it all." Every time I turn around, somebody was coming in here getting 4 to 6 vials. I said, "There ain't nothing left in there." Shoot, man. So anyway, I checked with my primary. Now, for those of you that have been following me, maybe you've seen it on TikTok, I've talked a little bit about it on Facebook. I've been training for a race, going to San Francisco to run the Beta Breakers. Been wanting to do this for decades. And I'm concerned the doctor's going to tell me, nope, you can't do it. So a meeting with her, and she's taking a look at everything, and the only thing she ended up recommending was some sleeping pills to knock myself out. She said, "Your brain scan is fine." My wife was joking and said, "Yeah, it proved you got one in there." I don't think that was funny. But anyway, she said, as far as your heart is concerned, there's I can't remember the name of it right now, but the heart's ability to pump blood back out of your heart. She said, a lot of people think the goal is to get up to 100%. She said, but the goal is for it to be between 60 and 65%. She said, your heart is between 60 and 65%. She said, and everything else about your heart is that it's perfect. No, nothing. My brain scan, no, nothing. Now, understand something. I knew what this was before it happened. Because I've been dealing with it. I met a doctor in emergency when it happened 14 years ago. He said, this has happened to me on some other stuff, even with my daughter. He said, I have the same condition. You have to be careful when you lay down and don't lay down too fast. And that also means the fatigue aspect of it and all of that. So I asked the doctor, I said, and she's a Christian, I said, I'm not much into luck. I said, I don't believe in luck. But I have to ask you, can I still run the Beta Breakers? Oh, here's the blessing. She said, most people don't have scans on their brain and their heart prior to doing a race. She said, you're in perfect condition. See, the heart thing, the reason I felt that across my chest was because I was contracting, convulsing as I was laying down. However, how is it ever? It's still, I felt like I needed to be checked out. But she said, I am good to go. So I got some other things that are going on that I'm fighting through, but I'm determined. Like I always try to be, beloved, if I get my mind on something that I want to do, I'm going to do it. If I want to jump out of a plane, I'm going to do that. If I decided I was going to ride a Harley, I wanted to own a Harley, I did that. Corvette, I did that. I'm an adventurous person. And ain't no devil in hell going to stop me from enjoying my life. I'm not trying to be anybody else. I'm just trying to be me. And I think I got that down. So, sorry there's no full show that I could study and put together for you. I do have something in mind, but yeah. Also want you to know that on Wednesday, I'll be on a plane. I am going to broadcast live during the race, which is going to be on a Sunday. I don't know what time that would be here. The race will be starting at 11:30 Eastern time. I'll be Pacific time. But I'll, share things in my city, man. I'm going home. I can't wait. You know, some people, they say, oh, don't let people know when you're going to be out of town. They'll come and try to break into your house. Okay, you go ahead and do that. Because my neighbors called the cops on me. When I went over to get some, I was going to do a men's retreat, and there was a jacket that I wanted to wear with my outfit. And I'm walking around in there at night. I had my wife's black car, so they didn't know it was hers. If I had been in a yellow Corvette, they didn't know it was me. But I walked in their house, and I got the flashlight going, and then I go up and down the steps every time I go in to flush toilets, turn the hot water on, things like that, just to keep things moving. Man, I was leaving, and the cops were coming down the street. So that is the least of my concerns. So anyway, pray for me, pray for my trip, pray for the insurance company to get themselves together. They've been great other than this last piece to fix this hole, because they got to fix a whole section. But pray for that, you know, so I can get back in my crib. All right, getting ready to do, what is it, probably about 3 miles on this treadmill. Did 5 miles yesterday, but it's getting dark outside and I'm just getting started. So been a busy day, but yeah, it's all good. Listen, I love you. We'll get things back to normal on well, I'll record before then, but it'll be Monday.